Chief Meteorologist Joel Barnes here. Thanks for joining us on our live platforms. We are watching one severe thunderstorm heading into the Decaturville area. We've also had plenty of lightning in and around Jackson over the last couple of hours and still some pretty heavy rain coming on down. We are under a level 1, so we're really not expecting widespread severe weather tonight. Again, that's a marginal risk. You notice on our scale of 0 to 5, it's just a 1, but we could have some up to nickel-size hail, maybe up to 50, 60-mile-an-hour winds. Tornadoes seem highly unlikely tonight. Flooding may become a bigger issue overnight if we get some of these training showers and thunderstorms, but here's what we're looking at currently on the radar. We'll go back here a scan. Do want to kind of show you the big view here across West Tennessee. Most of that activity sliding through, but you notice we got this one storm that intensified as it's moving there just to the southwest of Parsons. Everything else has been just some weak, non-severe thunderstorms. We had some earlier that did start into northern Gibson County, went through McKenzie, but the last hour everything's been now popping up right around Madison, Henderson County, Chester County, and this big storm here just to the north of Scotts Hill. This is our new severe thunderstorm warning that's out till 5 o'clock. Does include areas in Decatur and Henderson County. Maybe a little hail core there between Darden and Scotts Hill. If you're watching us in Decaturville, you definitely need to head inside. A lot of lightning, heavy rain is heading your way. A little bit of broad rotation with this storm. Definitely not enough that we need to be concerned right now for it producing a tornado, but it is producing some gusty winds. You kind of see how that's spun up there. Looks like this could be between Darden and Scotts Hill. So if you're between Darden, Scotts Hill, over through Decaturville, Parsons, this pretty gusty storm is heading your way. We're going to be watching it very closely here as we get closer to 5 o'clock, and a hail core has showed up with this storm here as well. So here's our little hail detector north of Reagan near Shady Hill. Looks like the main hail core will stay south of 100 as it tracks to the east of Highway 22. Up to the north, we've got a few scattered showers in and around Lavinia. None of this is doing a whole lot as far as lightning. Just a couple lightning strikes in and around Jackson, but we're just getting some heavy rain showers for the most part. Stray lightning strike or two in Jackson. Then we've also got some scattered showers, not producing much for lightning down near Deanburg and Pinson. But here's our storm of the moment. This is the one that we are watching north of Scotts Hill. Again, it will be heading for 641 here, probably around 430. So if you're watching us in Decaturville, Parsons, into Decatur County, this storm is on the way. It looks like the worst of it is going to stay north of Scotts Hill and all southeast of Lexington. So, but if you are under this severe thunderstorm warning, you probably want to stay away from windows. Again, we could have some gusty winds and a little bit of hail showing up. So here's the timing with that. It comes into Parsons a little after 4:30. Bible Hill also a little after 4:30. May show up into Darden here about the next 5 minutes or so as it tracks off to the east. So again, severe thunderstorm warning has been issued from the National Weather Service out of Memphis for a storm producing some gusty winds and some hail. If you look off to the west, all this is still coming. Look at this. We've got a lot more rain on the way, but when this cluster moves on out here, we should get a break south of Jackson southward for a few hours, but you notice there's also this stuff coming on in. This is what we're going to be tracking tonight at the news between 5 and 7. I think this stuff's not coming by till closer to 10 p.m. tonight. You notice a line of thunderstorms off to the west. So here's the latest Futurecast. We've got the stuff up north coming through here between 5 and 8 o'clock. And then by 10, 11, that's when we could see some of these other showers and thunderstorms moving on in. Some of these could produce gusty winds overnight. Doesn't look like a big severe weather threat overnight, but some of these could produce gusty winds, plenty of lightning, heavy rain, and maybe even some small hail as they come on by. And then we should be pretty quiet for the mid to late morning on Wednesday. And then Wednesday towards the late afternoon, early evening, we're expecting more potential severe thunderstorms to pop on up, and some of those may even linger into the day on Thursday. I'm going to head back to the computer here and get a good look at this storm. We're going to stick with this Facebook Live here for about another 5 minutes. We'll keep an eye on this storm. Let me see if we've got any word out of the National Weather Service on this storm, if they're overly concerned about it right now. So I was monitoring their chat there earlier. So they're saying that there was a hail core on the Henderson County sail. And that's broad rotation there, like I mentioned. Let's see. Looks like they did issue, again, that broad rotation with that storm. So can't rule out it trying to produce a tornado, but it's lost a lot of its rotation since they issued it. So they removed the tornado possible tag with that storm. But there's still a lot of lightning on that cell. But let's get back in and take a look at the velocity again on that storm. So we'll see if I see any more possible rotation with it as it spun up there near Scotts Hill. But it's got a lot of lightning with that cell. Again, the severe thunderstorm warning out, 72 strikes. So here's where they were the most concerned about it, right there at Shady Hill. You see where we got a little bit of that reds and green next to each other. A little bit of a rotation there. It looks pretty broad to me, but definitely some strong winds there. Again, tornado threat, in my opinion, very low with this, but definitely caught the National Weather Service attention with this. So go ahead and check out some of our other velocity products here. If we can get one of these to load up, if my computer screen doesn't crash on me. All right, so there we go. So a little bit of bright reds, greens again right there. It was a little bit more concerning. Now it just looks like some winds. Take a look at a couple different radars on it. Still showing that little broad rotation there, probably up in the mid-levels of the storm. This is an area where we're a long ways away from the radar. We're going to take a look at our exclusive Camden radar at this, see if it can look that far away. Go ahead and pull that up there on our sweeping radar. So there's our Camden radars. Look at it. It's right on the edge of the Camden radar, but it also showed a little bit of rotation down there near Scotts Hill. So definitely a storm we need to continue to keep an eye on here over the next few minutes. We do have storm relative mean velocity. It's just a different velocity look. We'll see if we can pick that up on our Camden radar as well. So it's pretty much got the same look. Again, it's kind of in an area where we don't have real good radar coverage, but it's also producing some hail. You see where that hail started right there north of Reagan. So that's where the hail could be going. We'll go ahead and turn on our hail zone and our hail tracker. So basically that's where the hail could go, if not maybe south of there. So Shady Hill, Darden, Garrett, you could be in the hail zone. It could be as far south as Middleburg, Decaturville Road. Maybe a little bit of hail north of 100 on that storm. We got heavy rain though coming on down right now in Jackson, but it just looks like rain real heavy here right at Wbbj. You can see there east of Jackson where that heavy rain swath is, extending up now just east of downtown. We got a lightning strike near Liberty Tech, a little bit of rain north of Liberty Tech. Kind of put this whole action in motion here. So we've got our severe thunderstorm. It's beginning to kind of shear on out a little bit. Looks like it's weakening some as it moves into Decatur County. That's good news there with that storm. But still pretty intense. Still some gusty winds and some very broad rotation on this as it's heading closer to 641 there. So checking out with the National Weather Service. They seem to be thinking that storm is weakening some, which is pretty good, but it's still got a lot of lightning with it. I do have a Decaturville camera. I'm going to see if that's working right now. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So we'll go ahead and pull this up, see if we can get a look out of this on our Decatur cam. If we'll stick with it here for a minute and see if it populates or not. Sometimes these cameras work, sometimes they don't. As you know, if you watch us here at Wbbj, sometimes they go up. I'll give it about 10 seconds to see if it loads up. If not, we'll go back to the radar. All right, it looks like our camera at Decaturville is not functioning right now, unfortunately. Probably could have got a pretty good look at that storm. So again, we've got more stuff like all this up here to the north now. This is all new. This is what we're going to be watching tonight on the news. We've got this new line, and that's moving pretty quickly. So kind of give you a timing on that line. Let's go ahead and time that out. So we'll get this going. It comes through if it continues in the same general direction. So looks like Dyersburg, it's on the way. Mason Hall, Martin, Dresden, Trenton, Milan, Huntington. If this continues, could be in your area. I think it's moving a little bit faster, so you may be a little sooner than those times that you see jumping up there, because we'll go back here to a 1 hour loop. We'll see how far this has gotten in 1 hour. We'll go ahead and draw up our ruler tool here. So there we go. So in 1 hour, that line has gone. All right, so I see where to draw the new line. So 30, it's moving about 30 miles an hour. that line, and I think that's what I have it drawn up as. So yeah, I have it at 30. So these timings should be pretty close to accurate if it continues. So there's a look at the timing. If it continues at 30 miles an hour, Trenton around 5:50, Dresden 5:30, Martin 5:07, Dyersburg here in about 20 minutes. So we've got that line that we're watching coming on in. We'll get back to our severe thunderstorm here, get a quick look at that. Let's go ahead and turn off the lightning. We'll look inside that. Maybe still some hail north of Scotts Hill. We'll try to get some street levels come up. So Smith Chapel Road, Pirtle Lane, it looks like you got some heavy rain, maybe some small hail. That's right along the county line between Henderson County and Decatur County, north of Scotts Hill. So going to put this one as it's tracking on through. It looks like it's going to stay right in the center of that polygon, with the worst of it passing just south of Parsons. So Decaturville, this you got some heavy rain. Storms definitely coming your way in Decaturville. Go ahead and flip on. All right, so we've really lost the rotation that was showing up. So that's really good news with this storm. Again, we look at it at a different radar look. So right there, it was a little interesting, west of Scotts Hill. But to me, right now, I don't see any real threat for this of producing a tornado. So I think it's pretty good. But if you're watching us in Decaturville, you got this storm on the way. I'm going to set up some radar graphics on our other Macs that you can keep an eye on here. But we'll have a full report coming up at 5. If I do have to break in, if this storm gets any stronger or starts to rotate, I'll break back in on the live. But if not, look forward to seeing us tonight at 5. So we'll see you here in a little bit on WBBJ.